Kettlebell training is overrated. There, I said it. And before the kettlebell cult comes after me, hear me out. Because I'm about to make the strongest case against kettlebells you've ever heard. And then I'm going to do something unexpected. I'm going to tell you when that case is completely wrong. This video has two halves. The first half is going to make kettlebell enthusiasts furious. The second half is going to make barbell purists equally furious. Because the truth about kettlebells versus barbells isn't what either side wants to hear. And the truth is what actually gets results. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to present the most honest assessment of kettlebell training you'll find anywhere. The real strengths, the real weaknesses, the real lies both sides are telling you, and the real answer about who should use what tool for what goal. But first, I need to address something that's been bothering me for a long time. The kettlebell circus. Because this is where the overrated argument starts, and it's completely valid. Stay with me. This gets brutal and then gets real. Let's get into it. The case against kettlebells. And it's stronger than you think. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. A lot of kettlebell training you see online is, in plain terms, performance without purpose. Influencers juggling 16-kilogram bells through elaborate flows. One-leg balancing acts. Circus tricks that look impressive and achieve very little. This isn't training. This is content creation dressed as fitness. And the critics are right about this specific point. If you're swinging a 24-kilogram kettlebell for 100 reps, you're doing cardio. You're not building strength. You're not building muscle. You're getting sweaty and tired and feeling like you did something. These are different things. Here's the uncomfortable physics. Strength requires progressive overload, specifically progressively heavier loads that force your body to produce more force over time. A barbell back squat can go from 60 kilograms to 200 kilograms over years of training. The load increase is massive. The force production demand is massive. Your body has no choice but to get dramatically stronger and more muscular. A kettlebell swing with a 24-kilogram bell. You're limited by the tool. Eventually, you're not getting stronger. You're just doing the same work more efficiently. There's a ceiling. And it's not that high. The critics make another valid point. If you can back squat 4 plates, heavy barbell training, you can do anything a kettlebell guy can do. The strength transfers down easily. A strong barbell athlete can pick up a kettlebell and dominate immediately. But a kettlebell specialist picking up a barbell for the first time, they'll struggle. The strength transfer is asymmetrical. Why? Because barbell strength is built on maximum force production. Heavy load, full range of motion, incremental progressive overload. This builds the kind of strength that transfers everywhere. Kettlebell strength is built on movement efficiency at moderate loads. This builds conditioning. Skill, movement quality, but not maximum force. Mark Rippetoe, one of the most respected strength coaches in history, called kettlebells wonderful doorstops. He's not entirely wrong. For building maximum strength and maximum muscle mass, barbells are superior. Full stop, no debate. The physics are clear. Here's the real problem with how kettlebells are marketed. They're sold as a complete replacement for serious strength training. Build serious muscle with kettlebells. Get brutally strong with kettlebells. Replace your entire gym with one bell. This marketing is misleading for people whose primary goal is maximum strength and maximum muscle. If you want to be as strong and as big as possible, you need heavy barbells. Period. This is not controversial in evidence-based strength training communities. The research is clear. Progressive heavy loading builds maximum muscle and maximum strength. Kettlebells cannot match this. So the critics are right. Kettlebells are overrated. Case closed. Not even close. Because here's what the barbell purists consistently miss. The case for kettlebells. And it's stronger than you think. Here's the first problem with the barbell-only argument. It assumes everyone's goal is maximum strength and maximum muscle mass. But most people's goal isn't to be as strong as possible. Most people want to be functional, healthy, athletic, pain-free, capable in real life. For these goals, kettlebells don't just compete with barbells. They often win. Here's the second problem. The comparison is usually between barbell training done correctly and kettlebell training done incorrectly. Circus trick kettlebell flows versus serious heavy barbell programming. This isn't fair. Compare serious kettlebell training, heavy bells, progressive overload, fundamental movements to serious barbell training. The results are much closer than barbell purists admit. A man who can clean and press two 32-kilogram kettlebells is strong. Period. That's 64 kilograms pressed overhead simultaneously. A man who can swing a 48-kilogram kettlebell for sets of 20 is powerful and conditioned. These aren't toys. These are serious training stimuli. Here's what barbell training cannot do that kettlebells can. Barbells cannot safely train explosive power for people who can't afford the technical learning curve of Olympic lifting. Olympic lifting is extraordinarily technical. Most people never learn it properly. Kettlebell swings and cleans provide explosive power development with a fraction of the technical requirement. Same stimulus, accessible to everyone. Barbells cannot provide cardiovascular conditioning. You need separate cardio for heart health. With kettlebells, strength and cardiovascular conditioning happen simultaneously. In the same session, with the same tool, this efficiency is genuinely valuable for people with limited time. Barbells destroy joints over decades. The research is clear on this. Years of heavy barbell squatting and deadlifting accumulate significant joint stress. Most veteran powerlifters have significant knee, hip, and lower back issues. Kettlebell training, when done correctly, is remarkably joint-friendly. The dynamic loading strengthens connective tissue rather than grinding it down. Here's the most important point the barbell purists miss. Kettlebells build the underlying qualities that barbell training requires: hip extension power, grip strength, core stability, movement quality. A person who trains kettlebells seriously for 12 months and then picks up a barbell progresses faster than someone who jumps straight to barbells. The foundation is stronger. So who is right? Let's get to the actual truth. The truth both sides don't want to hear. The barbell argument is right about this. Maximum strength and maximum muscle mass require progressive heavy loading. Barbells win here. If your goal is to squat 500 pounds or build 30-inch arms, kettlebells alone won't get you there. The load ceiling is too low. The kettlebell argument is right about this. For most people's actual goals, kettlebells are more appropriate, more joint-friendly, more time-efficient, more accessible, more sustainable for life, more complete in developing multiple fitness qualities simultaneously. Here's the real answer. The tool should match the goal. And this is where both sides fail. Barbell purists apply maximum strength logic to every fitness goal. Kettlebell enthusiasts apply accessibility logic to every fitness goal. Both are wrong. If your goal is maximum strength and muscle mass, use barbells primarily. Add kettlebells for conditioning and explosive work. If your goal is functional fitness, athleticism, fat loss, and lifelong health, use kettlebells primarily. Add barbells when you need maximum strength stimulus. If your goal is athletic performance, use both intelligently based on your sport's specific demands. The argument that kettlebells are overrated is really an argument that kettlebells are mismarketed. They're sold as something they're not. They're marketed as maximum strength builders. They're not. But they're extraordinary at what they actually do. Here's what kettlebells are genuinely the best tool for: time-efficient full-body training, cardiovascular conditioning combined with strength, explosive power development for the general population, joint-friendly training that builds connective tissue, accessible training with minimal equipment, fat loss through high metabolic demand, athletic qualities that transfer to real-world performance. Here's what barbells are genuinely the best tool for: maximum strength development, maximum muscle hypertrophy, progressive overload to extreme loads, specific strength training for powerlifting or Olympic lifting, building the absolute foundation of raw strength. Neither tool is superior overall. Each tool is superior for specific goals. The fitness industry's obsession with one tool versus another is marketing, not science. The hybrid approach that actually works. Here's what I've found works best for most people. Use both, intelligently, based on your goals and your life context. If you have time and access, spend 3 days weekly on heavy barbell fundamentals: squat, deadlift, press, row, and 2 days on kettlebell conditioning and power work: swings, snatches, carries. This builds maximum strength on a foundation of athletic movement. If you're time limited, 3 days of serious kettlebell training delivers 80% of the benefits of full gym training in 30% of the time. Not perfect, but outstanding, and sustainable, and accessible. If you're over 50, prioritize kettlebells for joint health and athletic longevity. Use barbells selectively and carefully. The connective tissue cost of heavy barbell training accelerates with age. The joint-friendly nature of kettlebells becomes more valuable. If you're young and healthy and want maximum strength, prioritize barbells. Add kettlebells for conditioning and athletic development. The problem isn't the tool. The problem is the claim that any single tool is the answer for everyone. Barbells are overrated when recommended to someone whose joints can't handle heavy loading. Kettlebells are overrated when recommended to someone whose goal is maximum strength. Context determines which tool is superior. The real enemy of your progress. Here's the uncomfortable truth neither side wants to discuss. The real enemy of your fitness progress isn't using the wrong tool. It's inconsistency. Most people arguing about barbells versus kettlebells online are neither swinging kettlebells nor squatting barbells consistently. They're debating instead of training. The person who swings a kettlebell 50 times daily for 5 years will be in dramatically better shape than the person who argued online about barbells for 5 years. The person who squats heavy 3 times weekly for a decade will be dramatically stronger than the person who spent that decade discussing optimal programming. Both tools work when used consistently, with appropriate intensity, with progressive challenge. The debate about which tool is superior is mostly irrelevant if you're not actually training. Here's my challenge to both camps. Barbell people, spend 30 days seriously training with kettlebells before dismissing them. Not circus tricks, heavy fundamental movements, Turkish get-ups, double bell presses, weighted carries, serious kettlebell training. Then reassess. Kettlebell people, spend 30 days training seriously with a barbell. Heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, progressive overload, then reassess. Both experiences will change your perspective. Both tools will earn your respect. And you'll find yourself using both intelligently based on your goals. The practical verdict: kettlebell training is overrated as a maximum strength and muscle building tool. The critics are right about this. If you want to be as strong as possible, you need heavy barbells. The physics are clear. The research is clear. Kettlebell training is underrated as a complete fitness tool for most people's actual goals. The critics are wrong about this. For functional fitness, athletic performance, fat loss, joint health, and time-efficient training, kettlebells are extraordinary, often superior to barbells. The question is never which tool is better. The question is which tool is better for your specific goal at this specific stage of your training life. And the honest answer is probably both. Used intelligently, used consistently, used with appropriate intensity and progressive challenge. Stop the tribal warfare. Pick up a barbell and a kettlebell. Use both. Get strong and athletic and healthy simultaneously. And stop arguing with strangers online about which piece of iron is superior. The iron doesn't care about your opinion. It only responds to effort. So here's my final challenge. Drop a comment telling me your specific fitness goal, just your goal. I'll tell you honestly whether a barbell, kettlebell, or both is the right tool. No agenda, no cult loyalty, just honest advice based on your actual objective. And if you want programming that intelligently combines both tools for maximum results, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because we're building a community that trains with intelligence, not tribal loyalty. Kettlebell training is overrated for some goals, for some people, and it's underrated for others. The truth is always more nuanced than the loudest voices on either side, and nuance is what actually gets results. I'll see you in the next video. Now stop arguing, go train,